Surprise, surprise. Here I am. I know it's been 5 months, possibly longer, but here I am. I'm back. And today, I'm going to be doing a reaction video. I'm going to be reacting to which Smash Bros. Fighters are Christians. And yeah, I'll be putting the original video in the link for the description. And yes, sir. Alright, let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Smash Bros. Christianity.
Smash Bros.
Today we're gonna combine the two and figure out which Smash Bros. Fighters are believers in Jesus.
I'm just trying to help.
You can help by getting out of my face.
Dang, Mario.
Now, I'm not a pastor or a priest. These are all just bonehead assumptions about fictional characters with little to no evidence of religious practices. However, I would prefer not to get excommunicated in the process of this, so here are some ground rules for the video.
Alright. Wait a minute.
There.
What?
Let's begin. Mario.
Wait,
I'm not
what?
rules
What?
for the video.
Number 1, humans. So we can't have Sonic? No Sonic? Not that guy? That does not. That's rigged. That's not fair, bro. That's not fair. Number 2, all official media is valid. Media of the characters for a game as long as it's parent publisher. Okay. 3, what the hell is this? Any Nissan denomination counts. All denominations are. Whatever. Alright.
There. Let's begin. Mario. I'm not going to say that he's Catholic for being an Italian American in Brooklyn, but I'm like 89% sure this man was christened as a baby. But on top of that, Mr. Mario is an incredibly forgiving person, inviting his enemies to go golfing and karting with him. However, he abuses animals and steals coins. Has been baptized.
Okay.
Link. So this one's interesting because the Zelda series is one of the few Nintendo franchises to actually acknowledge the church in early drafts, at least. The first Zelda game in the Japanese translation has the Bible in it, and to confirm later on, Link does make a praying gesture in front of a cross.
Hey, did you know you might get a big tax payout if you were in a car accident up to 1 year ago? Even if you weren't driving, just click the link around this video to see how much you can get. Just answer 5 simple questions.
In official artwork. Unfortunately, the links we see in Smash Bros. Aren't from those games. However, I don't care. The question is he a devout Christian? When he attacks others, it's because he's fighting against the forces of evil. It's never from a place of wrath or trying to hurt the weak. Jesus may not be canon to the Breath of the Wild, but if he was, Link would follow him as a devout Christian.
Yeah.
Samus. Christianity clearly wasn't part of her life. Agnostic for the vibes. Luigi.
Yeah, she's
so if Mario and Luigi grew up in the same household, they likely both grew up in the same church. However, I go out on a limb and say Luigi takes his faith a little more seriously due to his awareness of the spirit world. And if he is actually able to fight evil spirits, that means he could very much be far more advanced in his spiritual warfare. In order to do that, he's got to be a devout Christian. Ness. Now, I feel like a lot of people would assume Ness is an evangelical. Growing up in the suburbs, he's got that WASP look, but there are actual confirmed Christian characters in his game. In Mother 1, Anna is a pastor's kid whose favorite book is the Bible. Paula prays to God in the final battle of Mother 2. And Ness doesn't do anything of the sort. The best I can assume for him is a lukewarm Sunday Christian. Captain Falcon. Guys, for Falcon, I had to go on for answers. While I do laugh at the joke about Sakurai confirming Captain Falcon getting his power from his faith, he didn't actually say that, and as far as I'm aware, there's no apparent sign of a church in the F-Zero games. Agnostic for the vibes. Princess Peach. She gives the impression of someone who put Jeremiah 29:11 on her Instagram bio. But according to this tweet right here, she appears to be praying multiple times, even holding a cross in one image. However, in this image, she's praying for show in public.
Something that's not exactly encouraged by JC.
But hey, I'm not one to judge. Nobody is above any fault. For example, I could have once accidentally driven my black Toyota Tundra into an Olive Garden. Hypothetically speaking, of course. Yeah. Okay, I'll say that she has been baptized, and then probably tweeted about it. Anyway, Princess Daisy. While Peach lived in a castle built from Roman Catholic influence, Daisy lives in Sarasaland. Its architecture could come from any of the 3 Abrahamic religions. And while Daisy is kind and compassionate, she really does not put God in the picture. She appears to be somewhat aware of some supernatural realm because she does use magic for her like flowers and stuff in some random game about sports. So there's that. If you found her on Hinge, she'd probably be spiritual but not religious. Ice climbers. Nana and Popo are likely native Inuit. Their people don't necessarily have a centralized religion, but different groups follow various deities such as Akna, the goddess of fertility, forgive my pronunciation, Pinga, the goddess of strength, and Tarkip Inua, the Moon Man. It's an overall polytheistic view, so they are a different religion. Princess Zelda. So if you haven't noticed at this point in the video, none of the fighters' movesets have been mentioned yet. And that actually surprised me, considering how much Smash Bros. Has elevated certain Nintendo characters to public consciousness. Y'all just assume people don't care about some nerd stats of an old game. People still care about the Smash Bros. Meta, and I have proof of it.
So what's interesting about Pikachu is that you would think it's his down B that's his most powerful, but it's actually his back air. That's what's able to give like good edge guarding and combos. And
Sir, this is an Olive Garden. Wait, you're not allowed here.
Okay, bad example. Well, what I'm building up to is that a character's moveset is now relevant to the video, because Smash Bros. Zelda is a freaking necromancer. Her down special uses witchcraft to summon an undead phantom to attack people. Now y'all could say it's just a game, and I'm sounding like one of them strict parents who won't even let their kids watch Frozen 2 because Elsa's a closeted lesbian, and I'd be willing to write Zelda's little hobby as a silly fantasy tactic if it weren't for the fact that Zelda's moveset is so annoying. The playstyle is actually designed to invoke wrath and discord amongst your peers. She's forced me to do something I really don't want to do. Spiritual but not religious. She probably just wants to talk about her crystals, to be honest. Dr. Mario. Like Mario, he's Catholic. After all, the early church is responsible for the institution of hospitals. And Dr. Mario seems to be taking that legacy on in a modern way. Just don't ask him what he thinks on vaccines. Marth. To be honest, I know nothing about Fire Emblem, and I don't really want to. So I just did a basic Google search this time around. It looks like he doesn't worship any deity, even though there are some dragon worshippers in the game. We're gonna make him an r/atheist. Lucina. So Lucina is a distant descendant of Marth, except she might have different beliefs thanks to her bloodline from Naga with holy gifts, as it says. So I guess she has a different religion? Nah, I don't buy it. Spiritual but not religious. Ganondorf. This man literally absorbs demonic energy countless times and tries to destroy the world with it.
Oh no.
Mewtwo. Mewtwo is technically exempt because he's a Pokemon. However, he still gives off the impression that he'd monologue about why worshipping God demonstrates humanity's regression in society. Nonetheless, Mewtwo is actually beloved by the Church of England due to him being a good example of redemption. I find that funny, so it's worth mentioning. Still exempt.
The human sacrificed himself to save the Pokemon.
He's not a human, though.
He is actually in alliance with the St. Elamine Church. Couldn't tell you which denomination, because that would have to involve me playing a Fire Emblem game. But even if this church wasn't supposed to represent Christianity, Roy is not a member of this organization. r/atheist. Crom. All I found for Crom is that he's the prince of the Halidom of Elise, a country that worships Naga the dragon person, human. There's no evidence that he worships Naga, but Google's forced AI overview does. And because I really want to move on, I'm going to give him the same placement as Lucina.
Alright. Mr. Game & Watch.
Mr. Game & Watch. Great. Another hat.
This man is trapped in the Matrix, forced to wield his surroundings every day before it wields him. The idea of God likely seems absurd to this man, but one would never know because there's no religious imagery in his games. Agnostic for the vibes.
Yeah.
Pit and Dark Pit. They literally hang out with people who are false deities in accordance to the Christian faith. While they don't worship them technically, Pit does devote himself to Palutena. I think they're just cool mythological beings who chill around for the fun of it. Exempt. Wario. So unlike the stereotyping nonsense I used for Mario and Luigi, Wario is alluded to be Christian thanks to a Protestant cross being at his grave in Wario's Christmas Tale. If his Germanic origins are still true, that could mean he's likely a member of the EKD, which consists of Evangelical Lutherans, Reformed, and United Protestants. It is the most prominent Protestant church in Germany. However, this man is super greedy and definitely does not help the poor, so I wouldn't call him devout necessarily, but he likely has been baptized. Thanks to the EKD's sola fide beliefs, the sacrament of baptism still plays a big part in unifying with Christ and the church. Wow, leave it to Wario to actually give the most theological reasoning. Anyway, moving on. Solid Snake. He doesn't really say any religious claims in his games. Still, this man has literally seen the ghosts of the people he has slain. Spiritual, but not religious. Ike. Yeah. Let's make this quick. Ike receives powers from Yune, or Yune, the goddess of chaos. Okay. This is not judgment for having a different faith. This is just me not liking Fire Emblem. Pokemon Trainer. Yeah. So the reason why I made this utterly ridiculous video in the first place is because of this meme right here.
Nothing but ocean in every direction, and no way to tell which direction to go.
I remember the story of Noah, who when he had to find dry land, sent a bird to find it.
It's crazy!
Yo! They have Christian and Pokemon and Christian, bro.
So yeah, Brock apparently goes to Sunday school, and at another point, Misty tries to exorcise a Ghastly, but they're not the Pokemon trainers in Smash. And the players that both Pokemon trainers' designs are based on never visit a church in their respective games, even though we just confirmed that Christianity is canon to the Pokemon world. r/atheists. Maybe they'll have a change of heart when they run into Pope Leo. Lucas. Unlike Mother 1 and 2, which have both churches and Christians, Mother 3 has neither. Lucas doesn't seem to follow any religion, and while his psychic powers may freak out the moms at your non-denominational church, he was born with them, like Ness. No witchcraft for this heretic. Agnostic for the vibes. Sonic. Yeah! Are y'all ready for a deep cut? Because Google AI won't tell you this, but there is in fact a church in Sonic Unleashed. And not only that, Sonic talks multiple times with Father Gregorios, a member of the Apodos Orthodox Church, a title given away by the Greek-inspired architecture and his Kalimaikion headpiece. That's cool and all, but Sonic doesn't really care about what Father Gregorios has to say. The man gave more attention to the hot dog guy. This dude has faced off countless spiritual creatures, and he has never once knelt down and prayed. He may be willing to sacrifice himself for humanity, but it's as clear as day. Our autism icon here is an atheist. Olimar and the Pikmin. For the Pikmin games, there's no info on religion or worship to work off of. Agnostic for the vibes. Villager. Alrighty. It's time to settle this debate once and for all. Can you host a legit virtual church in Animal Crossing? Considering that the Villager is an audience insert, the Villager can be anything. You can build churches in Animal Crossing and host mock sermons. But performing the sacraments is probably going to be a little out of your reach. One of these includes baptism, so Villager at most is a Sunday Christian. Wii Fit Trainer. Right. You just know this woman is going to ask you about your sun, moon, and rising after the yoga session. Spiritual, but not religious. Rosalina and Luma. By now, any conservative parent who possibly clicked on this video to see if the Super Mario Galaxy movie is safe for their kids has probably realized that this video isn't here to answer that question. With that being said, I assume some helicopter parents out there will see Rosalina's wand and get worried. Her magic abilities are strange because she's not as powerful as her movie version. And here's the thing, you'd think there'd be a flood of info coming in for Rosalina's magic abilities, but despite her rich backstory, there really isn't much about her attachment to the cosmos. It's pretty clear that she doesn't worship some giant devil Luma, but she also uses astral projections in Mario Galaxy 2 and conjures up launch stars in Smash Bros. Let's go spiritual but not religious. I haven't seen the Super Mario Galaxy movie, but if Rosalina bows down to the devil in this one, sorry for leading parents astray. Okay. Little Mac.
Okay.
Little is known about Little Mac, other than he's an Italian-American fighter who grew up in the Bronx. You think by stereotype alone I'd give him the same treatment as Mario. But remember, guys, faith without works is dead. And Little Mac does little that is taught in the Bible. His whole life is dedicated to fighting for sport. If there was even a church in the Punch-Out universe, he probably wouldn't attend it. I sound so judgmental. Agnostic for the vibes. Palutena is the sky-world goddess of light, a false god to the Christian faith, and in the words of Kronk and a plethora of Bible passages, that means she's probably a demon. Alright. She's probably just a very interesting and powerful mythical being like Rob the Robot, but with nice-looking shoulders. Wait a second. Robin. They receive and practice witchcraft from a book. Oh no. Shulk. This man looked into the eye of Galeem, saw the future, and he was just like, That and he prefers a world without gods. I may have never touched a single Xenoblade Chronicles game in my life, but I trust my research because I was willing to go to the second page of Google to find answers. Anti-theist. Ryu and Ken. They probably believe in some Eastern spiritual practices to enhance their training. We know that these religions and lifestyles existed in their universe because several stages take place at different temples in Asia. They're just never seen bowing down to an idol or something. Spiritual, but not religious. Cloud Strife. Final Fantasy VII has so many religious inspirations, it could be its own video essay genre. I just don't think anyone would watch them. All you need to know is that while it gets its inspiration from religions such as Gnosticism, there is actually a church in this game. Aerith grows flowers there. However, Cloud is not Aerith, but thanks to his Mako, limit breaks, and Genova shenanigans, he's at least got to be aware of some supernatural parts of the world, spiritual but not religious. Corrin. All right. Corrin is a dragon. Wait a second. Oh no. Oh no! Okay. Bayonetta. What? She's an Umbra witch with a demon contract. Yes, the angels in her universe are cruel to humans, and what they do is antithetical to Christ's teachings in our world, but from a completely neutral standpoint, I should point out that there are angels in the Old Testament that have decimated entire populations as well. Christians could argue that the angels did this out of love for humanity, but I'm just going to play it safe and say that the heavenly forces in this game are not supposed to represent the ones mentioned in the Bible. We can save that conversation for another video, except I'm never going to make that video. Exempt. Simon Belmont. Guys, this one's clear as day. My man carries the cross, a Bible, and even holy water. He even goes to church at one point. His denomination, I couldn't tell you. The wiki says Eastern Orthodox, so let's go with that. Devout Christian. Richter has the same aforementioned sub-weapons as Simon. That's pretty much it. And if it's true that they're Orthodox, that means baptism is required for church confirmation. Has been baptized. Joker. The only time he can go to church is to hang out with a woman. So most Christian men in their 20s then. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, bro.
With that aside, it's clear he's not interested in the faith at all. And due to the supernatural elements of personas, Joker is going to be spiritual but not religious. Hero. Hero worships the goddess of mercy and grace. Different religion. Terry. He appears to not have any visible traits that point to a religious affiliation. He's a master at channeling energy.
Practice.
And considering that there are temples and a church in the backgrounds of stages in Fatal Fury, it seems Terry is more interested in Eastern spiritual practices than bowing down to a deity. Spiritual, but not religious. Byleth. Finally, the last Fire Emblem character. And thankfully this is an easy one. Byleth becomes a leader of the Church of Saros, a religious organization that worships Sothis, who is not the god in the Bible. Different religion. Min Min. There's no info regarding Min Min's religion. If she did believe in Jesus, she's done nothing to really demonstrate that she does. Agnostic for the vibes. Steve. Well, kids, it's time for church. Grab your gaming goggles and hop on the Christian Minecraft server. So, for Steve, he has the same religious situation as Animal Crossing. You can build your churches and host your online Sunday school sessions here. And as a bonus, there are churches actually built into the game. And while it's debatable on whether or not Steve can get baptized, there are no grapes in Minecraft, meaning the Minecraft characters can't take part in the Eucharist. Oh well. For certainty, Steve and Alex could be Sunday Christians, though. Sephiroth, same deal as Cloud, but more evil. Spiritual, but not religious. Pyra and Mithra, they are a sword. I don't know what to say further, so I'm just gonna exempt them. If you want them to be a specific religion so badly, write it in your fanfiction. Kazuya Mishima. This man literally has a devil version. Oh no. Sora, this guy hangs out with Disney characters. He's absolutely into the occult, if that's the case.
Well, that's what they get for supporting you.
Well, folks, have a great day and eat granola. It's good for the digestive system.
What is this?
Domine, tibi gratias ago,
Corby?
hoc tempus simul nobis sit admonitio, sive similes sive dissimiles simus. Nos vocatos esse ad invicem amandum, sicut tu nos amaste. Utinam pergamus, esse benigni et misericordes invicem. In nomine Iesu precor. Amen.
Amen. Everything not saved will be lost. Alright, guys. That's it. Which Smash Bros. Fighters are Christians? That's it, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. And I'm gonna rate this. I don't know. It was a good video. Yeah. Bye. Bye bye.